think I've been thinking about with every swing of the hammer? How happy I am making weapons for the family that killed my father. Family that tried to kill me.
Hello, my sweet summer children. I'm back with some juice to get you through the long nights. Every time I get online, on Twitter, on Instagram, on YouTube, in the comments, everywhere, I keep seeing the same thing over and over and over again. So you know what that thing is? It's that Gendry is Cersei's son.
Enough! Let it end!
Maybe it's something wrong with me, but I think this R+C=G is impossible. I did a DNA on Gendry about a year ago, and there was no way that Cersei was his mother. And I think I need to show y'all why I believe this is impossible. If I'm missing something, be sure to let me know in the comments. Show me the way. But I believe I have compiled some very compelling evidence to bring all of you R+C=G believers from the dark side. So for anyone that doesn't know what in seven hells I'm talking about, first, where have you been? Hi, I'm Gray Area, subscribe to my channel. No, but seriously. So the theory is that Cersei and Bobby B had a baby, it had black hair, and it was Gendry. Cersei allegedly tells Jaime to get rid of the baby, and the soft-hearted Kingslayer that pushed Bran from a window just couldn't do it, so he paid someone to raise the baby instead of actually getting rid of it. But anyway, so the main premise of this theory relies on show-only evidence. Cersei confiding in Catelyn about her first son, her black-haired boy.
I lost my first boy, little black-haired beauty.
And Robert and Cersei talking about their first son that died.
I felt something for you once, you know.
I know.
Even after we lost our first boy.
These are the smoking guns for this theory, but is the gun really smoking? Because they keep saying that the baby died. The baby's not here, but none of this happens in the books anyway. There is nothing in the books that jumps off the pages as to Gendry's mother being anyone, let alone Cersei. For all we know, Gendry's mother could be Bessie.
Bessie! Thank the gods for Bessie.
When I hear R+C=G, I just think George R.R. Martin does not write like that. If Gendry was Cersei's baby, there would be some kind of foreshadowing. There would be some kind of lion dreams or some shit. Gendry wouldn't have a bull's head helmet, he would have a lion's head helmet. There would be some character parallels, some symbolism. There would be something. And there isn't. Like with Tyrion being a Targaryen, like I don't like it, I don't agree with it, but I understand it. I get how it's possible. He has dragon dreams. He pretends to be a lost Targaryen prince when he was a little kid. He dreams of himself as a Blackfyre Targaryen. There's rumors that his mom banged the Mad King. Like his dad doesn't even think he's his son. Like, I get it. I still don't like it, but if it happens, I can't be mad because there's been emphasis put on Tyrion being a Targaryen or something. Like, it's there. And then, like, with Jon, there was a lot set up over numerous books as to Jon being more than what we thought he was. The crypts of Winterfell haunting his dreams, Lyanna's statue being down there, Ned being all weird and dreaming of the bed of blood and the Tower of Joy and all of this buildup, Jon not knowing who his mother is. We just don't have any of that for Gendry. Like, Rhaegar being Jaqen has a better chance of coming true than Gendry being Cersei's baby. We have book and show evidence that points to actually, like, the opposite, that Gendry is not Cersei's. So let's talk about that. The first glaringly obvious clue is Maggy the Frog.
Will the king and I have children?
The king will have 20 children. And you will have 3.
That doesn't make sense.
Gold will be their crowns. Gold. Their shrouds.
Maggy says that Cersei will have 3 children. Gold will be their crowns, gold will be their shrouds. Those 3 children, Joffrey, Myrcella, and Tommen, had crowns of gold, as in golden hair. And they were all killed, which That's what you use a shroud for. When Marcella came back to Cersei dead, she was covered in a golden shroud. So maybe you're like, well, what if Maggy the Frog was wrong? So let me explain the entire premises of this situation. So in A Feast for Crows, we start to see the paranoia of Cersei Lannister manifesting itself like crazy. She's obsessed with this prophecy and it's literally eating her alive, and Jaime notices her paranoia growing. The crows will feast upon us all if you go on this way, sweet sister. Cersei, listen to yourself. You are seeing dwarfs in every shadow and making foes of friends. Uncle Kevin is not your enemy. I am not your enemy. So throughout A Feast for Crows, there are two parts of the prophecy that Cersei focuses on mainly. The younger and more beautiful queen, whom she thinks is Margaery Tyrell, and the Valonqar, whom she thinks is Tyrion. She's an idiot on both accounts. Cersei is so paranoid that she burns the Tower of the Hand on Tommen's wedding night with wildfire out of fear that Tyrion is in there hiding in the walls, her Valonqar coming to kill her. And she hates the Tyrells. I mean, the Tyrells were overbearing and filled with lust for power, but the reason she could never fully get on board with the Tyrells was simply because she thought Margaery was the beautiful queen that would strike down everything she held dear, which is why she fought Margaery at every turn. This is why she had Margaery imprisoned by the Faith and tries to have Margaery executed, which she eventually does manage to do on the show. The climb up the dark stone steps from the black cells left Cersei feeling breathless. I must rest. Getting to the truth was wearisome work, and she dreaded what must follow. I must be strong. What I must do, I do for Tommen and the realm. It was a pity that Maggy the Frog was dead. Piss on your prophecy, old woman. The little queen may be younger than I, but she has never been more beautiful, and soon she will be dead. What Cersei doesn't realize is that this more beautiful younger queen is not and was not ever Margaery. Cersei has just said that Margaery was never more beautiful than her. So this beautiful and more younger queen is Daenerys. So in her paranoia and folly, she has destroyed an alliance that would have been a great benefit to her family, all because she's obsessed with this prophecy. Cersei prayed the old fraud was screaming down in hell. The younger queen whose coming she'd foretold was finished, and if that prophecy could fail, so could the rest. No golden shrouds, no Valonqar. I am free of your croaking malice at last. This quote highlights a ton of things, right? One, that Cersei feels imprisoned by this prophecy. She feels like if she can stop this coming of this younger and more beautiful queen, that she can be free from this prophecy. Now, if she had a fourth child, wouldn't she be free from this prophecy already? If she had a fourth child in the world, wouldn't Maggy the Frog have already been wrong and Cersei would have no need to feel imprisoned by such a prophecy? In this quote, she also says, if that could fail, so could the rest. No golden shrouds, no Valonqar. In this very quote, Cersei is claiming that Maggy the Frog has been right up until now. So she is claiming that she only has 3 children. Maggy tells her she won't marry the prince, she'll marry the king. That happened. She would have 3 children. That happened. Gold would be their crowns. That happened. Now she's obsessing over the young and more beautiful queen, the golden shrouds, and the Valonqar. If she had a 4th kid, she wouldn't need to worry about that shit, because that would mean that Maggy the Frog was wrong. So Cersei goes to Qyburn for help with this prophecy, and she says this, in my opinion, this ends the R+C=G. Blood magic is the darkest kind of sorcery. Some say it is the most powerful as well. Cersei did not want to hear that. This Maggy made certain prophecies. I laughed at them at first, but she foretold the death of one of my bedmaids. At the time she made the prophecy, the girl was 1 in 10, healthy as a little horse and safe within the rock. Yet she soon fell down a well and drowned. Melara had begged her never to speak of the things they heard that night in the mage's tent. If we never talk about it, we'll soon forget, and then it will be just a bad dream we had, Malera had said. Bad dreams never come true. The both of them had been so young, that had sounded almost wise. So Qyburn then asked Cersei if, like, the death of Malera is what's bothering her right now. Malera? No, I can hardly recall what she looked like. It is just the mage knew how many children I would have, and she knew of Robert's bastards. Years before he'd sired even the first of them, she knew. She promised me I should be queen, but said another queen would come. Younger and more beautiful, she said. Another queen who would take from me all I loved. And you wish to forestall this prophecy. So basically, Cersei, from her own mouth, says that Maggy the Frog got the number of children that she would have correctly. And it's this conversation and Qyburn telling Cersei, basically, if she kills the younger and more beautiful queen, that the prophecy can be forestalled. So Maggy was right. She's been right. Cersei has 3 children, not 4. Now, that's not all that disproves Gendry being Cersei's. So when Ned first meets Gendry, this is what he sees. The master called over a tall lad about Robb's age, his arms and chest corded with muscle. This is Lord Stark, the new hand of the king, he told him as the boy looked at Ned through sullen blue eyes and pushed back sweat-soaked hair with his fingers. Thick hair, shaggy and unkempt, and black as ink. The shadow of a new beard darkened his jaws. This is Gendry, strong for his age, and he works hard. Ned says that Gendry is about Robb's age. If Gendry is about Robb's age, that would mean that Gendry is too old to be Cersei and Robert's. Robb was born during the rebellion in 283 AC. Robert and Cersei didn't marry until after the rebellion, about a year after the rebellion in 284 AC. And they didn't even have Joffrey until 286. So if Gendry is about Robb's age, then Gendry should have been born during the rebellion or shortly after, not a year later. Also, Gendry knew his mother. Smoking gun. Gendry knew his mother. When Arya is arguing with Ned Dane in the Riverlands, Gendry recalls his mother to shut Arya up because Arya is pissed that Ned Dane said that Ned and Ashara fell in love at the tourney of Harrenhal. My father had honor, she said angrily, and we weren't talking to you anyway. Why don't you go back to Stony Step and ring that girl's stupid bells? Gendry ignored that. At least your father raised his bastard, not like mine. I don't even know my father's name. Some smelly drunk, I'd wager, like the others my mother dragged home from the alehouse. Whenever she got mad at me, she'd say, if your father was here, he'd beat you bloody. That's all I know of him, he spat. Gendry knew his mother. He also tells Ned that she worked at an alehouse. So the stories that he tells both Ned and Arya matches. When Ned asked Gendry what he told Jon Arryn about his mother, he said she died when I was little. She had yellow hair and sometimes she used to sing to me. I remember. She worked in an alehouse. So, I'm not really sure why we should think that Gendry is Cersei's son. I know the show took certain liberties and they added those 2 scenes, and I feel like they had good reasons for adding those parts. Those 2 parts were added in season 1. So in season 1, the huge plot point that really kicks off the Game of Thrones is the line of succession and the war that starts between the Lannisters and the Starks. So the show writers need to drop their own clues to the audience on the seed being strong. Gendry is that clue. Gendry is the clue that a yellow-haired woman and Robert Baratheon would produce a black-haired son. In the books, it's called Gold Yields to Coal. So in the books, we get literally told this by Ned as he's reading, like he's thinking, but you can't write a show like that. Like, you can't write a show where you just put a bubble on the screen of what someone's thinking. So you have to convey it to the audience. So I feel like that's what those scenes were for. Another smoking gun is that Cersei also tells Ned to his face that she never had kids with Robert, and when she did get preggers by him, that Jaime got her cleansed, aka Jaime took her to have an abortion. 12 years, Ned said. How is it that you have no children by the king? She lifted her head, defiant. Your Robert got me with child once, she said, her voice thick with contempt. My brother found a woman to cleanse me. He never knew. If truth be told, I can scarcely bear for him to touch me. With all of that being said, R plus C equals G doesn't make much sense. Even if you take away all the book stuff and you go show only, it still doesn't make sense. Because the Maggy the Frog prophecy is still there in the show. And the paranoia and the killing the more beautiful queen and the beef with the Tyrells, the hatred for Marjorie because it could be her, it's still there. The paranoia and the hatred towards Tyrion, it's still there. If Gendry was Cersei's, it wouldn't be there. There would be no need for it. I 100% do not believe that Gendry is Cersei's son in the books. I also think 99.999% chance that there's no way that Gendry is Cersei's son on the show. Could the show make Gendry Cersei's baby? Yes. If the show made Gendry Cersei's baby, I would just be like, why?
Why did you do that?
But I'm willing to say this with 100% confidence that I don't think at all that Gendry is Cersei's for the show or the books. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. I'm willing to take L's. But what do you think? Is Gendry's son? And if you believe this video isn't meant to be offensive or anything like that. Just help me understand it. Let me know why you believe this. I could be missing something. Help me out. Let me know what you think and why you think it. As always, thanks for watching. Thanks to everyone that supports me on Patreon. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please click that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and join the Sweet Summer family. Okay, my sweet summer children, have a good day.